Okay guys, full-time executive gaming back. I'm back from vacation, and a pre-introduction to this video. Throughout the next 3 videos, I will hide one code throughout each video that will earn you this awesome cape. So not this video, but the next 3 videos after this video. Okay, to the actual video. Okay guys, I'm back to the actual video, and I'm just going to say, so one of the days of the 5 days that I was on vacation, I went to this Minecraft experience. It was absolutely insane and awesome. It's a rare thing because it's only appeared 3 places in the entire world, you know, and it's kind of touring the world, so since it's like touring the world, it may be here, it may be there, it may be gone forever, you never know. So it's a great thing that I experienced it, and I'm going to let you experience it too, because I will explain it. So of course, spoilers, this is going to be exactly what the Minecraft experience is. If you are planning to go to it another time, if you know where it's scheduled to be, you know, just so you know, this is a spoiler, so if you don't want to hear everything that it was about and experience it for yourself, don't watch this video. But if you want to know exactly what it is, this is the video for you. So we're going to start off with the first part. So basically, everyone gets this cube. Now it's it glows a different color. So basically, it glows different colors. So like at first, it's kind of like a red color. And then when you step in and start actually interacting with stuff, your cubes just turn to green automatically. You know, of course, you use your arms. It's not virtual reality. You're actually experiencing this yourself. You just kind of, you know, start moving your cube around, and, you know, you can interact with stuff, and I'm going to tell you about that later. But yeah, your cube changes different colors depending on what you do. I think it might have even turned like an orange-ish color when you actually started like hitting with it or mining with it. But anyways, the first room was this place where you kind of got to start interacting with stuff. So for example, like you would take your cube and then like touch it to a block and it would turn green. I mean, it would turn like of course it was green, it would turn like a different color. So it would turn like orange, or if it was orange, it would turn green, it would turn a different color. And then you would know, it would give you like a sound, like a Minecraft sound, and then you know that you actually collected that block or that item. And you could collect a bunch of blocks. Like you could collect grass, you could collect pigs, iron golems, even mobs you could collect. And just like I'm showing you here, you could collect wood. So yeah, you could collect wood too. You could collect anything. And you don't really have an inventory. But the thing is, you know, you collect it, you see the item drop, and you just kind of know that you collect it by the sound, and you kind of have to memorize what's in your inventory, because in the actual experience, you don't have an inventory. So, yeah, that was that room, and then the next room was basically this big crafting table, and there's a bunch of stuff that popped up on the screen about what you had to craft, and basically what you would do. So you'd kind of one at a time place stuff in each slot, and basically what that would do was that would kind of, you know, eventually, you know, you would pick one thing up at a time, and then eventually you would fill each of the slots. For example, yeah, one of the tools was an iron sword, like I'm crafting right here. But yeah, you would just kind of get it one at a time from different places. Like, for example, the furnace, you could put your cube right next to the furnace, and you would get iron. And then you'd have to put it down one at a time. But we did figure out later there was a way to keep stuff in your inventory, so you could put multiple things in at a time. So yeah, that was a thing where you could get multiple stuff in your inventory. You just had to remember what was in your inventory. But yeah, you know, people were crafting stuff so fast that, you know, me and my family had trouble keeping up with stuff, and it was hard to actually place stuff, because by the time I got the stone for one place, they already created the entire pickaxe. So it was kind of hard. I probably got like 3 items placed down. But that was cool. That was the second room. So the third room, basically, you know, what you would do is you would build stuff. Like you could build villager houses. Like, you know, of course, this is just my, you know, crappy quick representation of what a villager house kind of looks like. But basically, you get the idea. So basically, you would build villager houses. You would click a plot of land because you wanted to grow your population. So you click a plot of land and build your house, and then you would click the, you know, bread or the apple on the ground to feed your people. And then you could click the hearts to make villager children, and then keep populating and populating and populating until you've got, you know, a decent population. But then there came a problem where then your zombie attack came on your village, and your villagers got zombified because your iron golems couldn't keep up with it. So, yeah, that brings us to the next room. So now the thing is, the next room is where you're trying to collect materials, because the rest of the experience is collecting the material to save your village population. What ends up happening is there's snowballs on the ground, and you kind of run over them and collect them. And then what you do is you open these chests, and these chests have, items in it that you'll need. They'll have, like, diamonds, or, they'll have, like, valuable stuff that you'll need in the future. And that brings us to our next room, which the next room is similar, and you're still opening chests to find valuable items that you'll need to save these villagers. You'll also find fish and food. So in the next room, basically, what you're going to be doing, of course, you'll be fighting creepers, and you'll be shooting skeletons. You'll be meleeing the creepers and shooting the skeletons, because the skeletons are just in your way. You don't want their bones for anything to heal the villagers with. But what you do want is the gunpowder for the creeper, for the splash potion of weakness. For basically, that's going to be one of the ingredients to heal the zombified villagers. So basically, just how, like, for example, when you mine, you'll swing your block hard, and in the air, and it will mine it. Same thing with fighting mobs. You'll just swing your block in the air, and it automatically switches between a bow or a sword, depending on if there's a mob to melee in front of you, and if not, it's just going to shoot, and it's going to change to a bow and shoot up to the skeletons. But also, another thing is that once you have all your materials, basically, what will happen is basically, you'll basically put all your materials in a minecart. Basically, you'll send that minecart down the tracks, or, if you're putting your items in a different place, you'll end up basically, it's like one of the other places that kind of filters into that minecart. But yeah, and then another thing is that you go into the Nether. So this is just by looking at the Nether portal and the experience, and basically I built a accurate representation of exactly the dimensions that it would be. So this would be the accurate dimensions of what it would look like. So basically, you had to get water and lava. You had to place water down, and then someone had to place lava on top of that, or vice versa. And then you'd have to take that obsidian and place it on one of the obsidian blocks, and then that obsidian block would light up. It was pretty cool. I thought it was a really neat effect how each block lit up. And of course, you couldn't just kind of put it all, like in real Minecraft, you could just kind of just click all the way around. So what you'd end up having to do is once half of the obsidian was filled, you had to start clicking on the other side. I didn't realize that. I was clicking on the same side that it was filled on. I thought it would just keep building over. It did not. I realized that, and it cost me some time. Basically, the next thing is lava jumps over striders. So basically, you had to wait for the strider to come out of the lava, jump on top of them, and jump on the island. It was kind of parkour, and it was really interesting that they did that without any VR. It was just you, and it was the block. But anyways, the next thing you do is hit the piglins off, and what you would do is you'd use snowballs to hit the piglins off. You'd use these, they're just these small plastic balls, and you would throw it at them. Basically, what you would do is you basically would throw snowballs at the piglins, knocking them off into the lava, and then they would die. And one of the last things is you would throw snowballs at the blazes, killing them, because snowballs do a lot of damage to blazes, actual Minecraft. So, of course, the same plastic balls, you would throw it at them. And, they would move around, and you'd have to hit them while they were throwing fireballs at you. And then at the end, there was this one big boss blaze that you've had to throw a bunch at. And everyone would throw enough snowballs, they would kill it. And I think we were you had to get enough blaze rods. We were 13 short, and it gave us 13 blaze rods because it was the main boss. The final thing that happened was you took all your ingredients, brewed it into a potion, and everyone had to put their cubes near the brewing stand like they were putting all their ingredients into the brewing stand. And then potions would brew, it was really neat effect. You brewed them into normal potions, then splash potions. You saw all the ingredients flying into the brewing stand. It was really interesting. At the end, you basically took the splash potions, threw it on the villagers, and then fed them all golden apples. And then what ended up happening was you cured a lot of villagers. I think we cured 187. That's the record to beat, people. You gotta beat 187. But anyways, so basically what would happen, you brew all the potions, you cure the villagers, and then you get a bunch of achievements. You get all the like a bunch of achievements for curing the villagers, like Villager Doctor, and all those achievements that you'd get in the real game. That was awesome experience. Yeah, you guys should check it out. I don't know where it's going to be next, but if you want to know, check out their website. Yeah, don't forget about me putting those 3 codes out in 3 separate videos, because the first code is actually going to start tomorrow that I'm going to put in, the videos somewhere. And it's going to be in the middle of the videos. It's going to be somewhere in the middle of the videos, and you're going to have to look for it. You click, like, your profile, and then you can click claim, and then you can type a code in. You'll type that code in, and then after you type the code in, you'll just put in your Microsoft account, and you get the cape. The one I'm wearing right now that I showed you earlier in the video. So yeah, you can get that cape. I'm putting the first code in the middle of the video tomorrow, the next day, and the day after that. And of course, there are normal videos. Tomorrow's going to be Bed Wars, the next day is going to be Build Hacks, and the next day is going to be Bed Wars. The only difference is that the code is going to be somewhere in the middle of the video. You're going to have to look out for it. But anyways, please like, subscribe, and share this channel with your friends. Until then, goodbye.